Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Classic Wrestling Cast, where you go in depth on classic wrestling. Today is our SummerSlam 2017 prediction show. Joining me, as always, is Aaron Steinberg from the Comic Book Show. How you doing?
I am doing okay, Mike. I don't know if I've ever asked you what is your favorite pay-per-view of the year.
Of the year, just in general, or of this year, like.
Just in general, do you have one that's your favorite to watch? Even though sometimes it's not good, you just enjoy the that specific pay-per-view itself.
Either probably it's like between WrestleMania and probably Royal Rumble, just because Royal Rumble has all the craziness of like, oh, that guy hasn't wrestled in 5 years. It's cool to see him again, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The Royal Rumble is 100% my favorite pay-per-view of the year, and then uh, WrestleMania, and then probably SummerSlam and Survivor Series are equal. So it's SummerSlam. That's exciting. And hold on, I'm getting a weird buzzing in my ear. Okay, that's better.
All right, cool. But yeah, Royal Rumble is usually like the most fun, just because it's you can usually tell who's gonna win, but it's like the mystery or surprise entrance and all that are all kind
Yeah,
of all
there's
the same.
just something special about the Royal Rumble and kind of its connectivity to WrestleMania, but we're going into the SummerSlam. I like SummerSlam a lot. Yet I find myself not caring pretty much for I would say like 80% of this SummerSlam card. And that's sad to me.
Yeah, there's a few matches I'm looking forward to seeing. Just because I think there'll be good matches. We'll get to those matches later, but some of these just seem I don't know if I want to say filler, but they don't seem like they don't seem very SummerSlammy. Like they don't seem like they're like
Yeah,
a big feud kind of thing or anything like that.
especially when you consider that we've seen a lot of these matches before. And we'll talk about that as we go into each match individually. So do you want to just start with the pre-show matches?
Yeah, I mean, I'm imagining these are pre-show because they have like the Wikipedia page says P on it. They can always change this, I guess. But we have first up, we have for this is for a cruiserweight championship. We have Akira Tozawa with Titus O'Neil versus Neville, and Tozawa I think like just won the title, and
Yeah,
so it's like a rematch like a few days later, or maybe not a few days. I don't know how
that
long ago it happened, but
that's exactly what this is. So this is the first match for SummerSlam that they just gave away on Raw for free. And not only did they give it away, but they did the title change. And I understand like, oh, the surprise of a title change. You never know what can happen. In the Vince McMahon used to say it all the time when he did commentary back in the early to mid 90s. He always say, you never know what's going to happen here in the World Wrestling Federation. So, I get that, right? But this is SummerSlam. Why not save this big moment for SummerSlam?
yeah, and the fact that it just happened on Raw is I'm kind of jumping ahead to my prediction. That's why I don't see a title change happening that quick. I
I
mean,
mean,
possibly you could. I
it's
mean,
possible.
Neville's great. I mean, the cruiserweight division is. Um, I like the cruiserweight matches just because they're different and they're usually like high flying and stuff like that. But like you said, I don't see why they gave the match away on Raw and then instead of having it be a different match on SummerSlam, they just gave us the same match again or are giving us the same
Yeah.
match again.
Like if they did this and then put a stipulation into the SummerSlam match, like okay, then maybe. But they didn't even do that. We're just getting a repeat of the same match. I could see them kind of hot potatoing the title back and forth, but they do that so much, and I don't like it when they do that a lot. So it's going to be a good match for sure. Um, Akira Tozawa and Neville are both really good. I don't watch 205 Live much, but from what I understand, 205 Live is the most consistently booked and best hour or 45 minutes of WWF program or WWE programming. So I feel like I probably should start watching that. But I don't know. I feel like to me this is already messed up because I would like to have seen Neville get like a year-long run with the title, just like be super dominant. But they're not doing that, obviously. So I would say what's Tozawa? I would say he wins. That
Yeah, and
makes the most
retains. Yeah, I would
sense.
say that too. Just because I wouldn't put it past them to hot potato a title. I just don't see them doing it here. I mean, I would hope not
Yeah,
anyway, but
I
so we'll
mean
go with that. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
they could, but it just doesn't really. I don't know. That would just feel weird here.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna have Neville, like if they're gonna have Neville win, why not just have him win, like not like lose the title, break a streak, and then get the title back?
Yeah, like if you're just gonna have.
I don't think they were building for a streak storyline. Like he's had it for a whole year, that kind of thing. But if they were, then there's no point unless they wanted to start it at SummerSlam and end it at next SummerSlam. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's possible, but then that would be, to me, that would be like, why do it that way? Why not just let him have have the title undisrupted? But it is what it is. It makes zero sense to me. Well, I just don't understand why they would give away this match and the title change on the Raw before, like 6 days prior. It doesn't make sense to me, but
Right.
who am I?
All
I'm
right.
no.
We'll move into our next match. Apparently, this is also pre-show. So we have the New Day, which is Biggie and Xavier Woods with Kofi Kingston versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Championships. Um, well, this is a pre-show match, so it's not going to be probably not going to be a great match, I don't think, depending on how much time they give them.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm not really sure. The New Day recently won, got the titles back, like a month, maybe 2 months ago. It was pretty recent, and the Usos had the titles for a while. Um, some of the other stuff I was reading were people were predicting the New Day to retain. Um, if they retain, I mean that's fine. If they don't, I really kind of like don't really care at this point for this title anyway.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I haven't
Like you were
really.
mentioning, a lot of these matches are just like not of what we would expect from a SummerSlam pay per view, I guess.
Right. This is what, I would expect to get from like Battleground, or one of the B shows, Bad Blood in Your House. Because we've seen this matchup before. Um, the I haven't really watched a lot of SmackDown. I catch the highlights and kind of listen to recaps, but SmackDown has been pretty bad. Um, Ever since Jinder Mahal won the title, really ever since the Superstar shakeup, SmackDown has just been poor. Um, so I haven't really watched a lot of it. The only entertaining things to me are the Fashion Files with Breeze on, what's his name, Tyler Breeze and Fandango, and then this feud, the Usos versus the New Day, has been pretty decent, and that's because the New Day are amazing and they're incredible. I don't think they're going to be the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history, as they are now. I don't think they're going to be relegated to having a month long title reign or whenever it was since their last since they won it. So I think the New Day is going to retain here, and I think you're right, Mike. I think the match is not going to be great because it's a pre-show match and it's not going to get a lot of time, which is sad.
I
That
mean,
they have a
if
4 hour
this was
pay.
a main card match, it would be better
Yeah,
because I don't remember what match it was, or I think it was 3 years ago, and New Day wasn't even I don't think formed yet, but it was the Usos against like Wyatt and Harper, and that match was amazing.
yeah.
Or not
That
Wyatt,
was
it
it
was
was Owen,
Harper and Rowan,
Rowan, Harper and Rowan.
and it was like a 2 out of 3 falls match, and the Usos their gimmick is kind of silly. I kind of like it though, but they put on a great match, but that was like a main card match where they had I think it was like 15 minutes or so to do that
Yeah, and
match.
then they had that. Maybe you just mentioned this and I forgot, but that 2 out of 3 falls match that they had.
I think that
Uh,
was it, yeah. Or that was
yeah.
one, unless they had another 2 out of 3 falls match. The one I'm
No, they
referring
only
to
had one, but
was,
that was pretty good.
I don't know if that
Uh,
was SummerSlam. That may have been SummerSlam from 3 years ago, or it may have been Battleground or something like that.
yeah, I don't remember what it was, but that was a good match. Like they're capable of putting on a good match. It's just because it's on the pre-show, I think it's not gonna get it what it deserves. But then again, like at least that title is being defended because Mike, if you look up and down this card, you will notice that not being defended is the freaking Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that,
That
but
what? That makes zero sense to me.
it looks
I
like
don't. I
almost
just
nearly everything else is on here. So we have the European or the Universal Championship, the WWE Championship, I think both tag team championships, right? Yeah, so
yeah.
both tag titles, both women's titles, and U.S. title. So SmackDown's version of the Intercontinental title, essentially. But yeah, so we're gonna go with the New Day here. We're gonna skip the third match because I think that's supposed to be the main event. We're gonna move into our SmackDown Women's Championship match. We have Naomi versus Natalia, which I Natalia generally is just there to get people over at this point, I think.
Yeah.
But you always have that the thing with Money in the Bank. Maybe Natalia wins and gets cashed in on. Maybe Naomi wins and gets cashed in on. I don't really know.
Yeah, well, let's not even talk about freaking Money in the Bank because
Yeah, well,
that whole business was a mess.
we'll get to that when we get to the that match. But
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I mean, yeah. Hmm. Here's the thing. Naomi,
I kind of don't see Natalia winning just because they never know what to really do with Natalia.
I see. I feel the opposite. I can see Natalia winning here because if you look at what Naomi has done as women's champion, it's pretty much nothing. She faced Lana a couple times, then she didn't even defend the title on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Or was the pay-per-view after that or the one before it. But there was one where she did not even defend her title. Um, she hasn't done anything noteworthy.
Yeah,
And
because I
it's
think
just
she became champion right at it was kind of like around the time they did the shake up split or whatever you want to call it.
yeah. And to me, the match that I would have had here is Naomi versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. That to me would have been the match. A triple threat between those three.
Yeah, and then you could
This is
and then that would have
SummerSlam.
been an opportunity to get Becky the title back if they won that.
Yeah, or have Charlotte turn heel on Becky and win, which is what should like Charlotte should not be a face right now. She should be a heel. She should turn on Becky Lynch because that is who Becky Lynch is. She gets turned on. Like that's been her character this whole time.
Yeah, and,
Um,
and Charlotte's done it multiple times at
yeah,
like
so
two Becky Lynch to begin with. Like on when they were on Raw,
they were team
well,
PCB.
yeah. Then they got rid of Paige, or Paige left that group or whatever it was. Then eventually Charlotte turned on Becky, and then they had their own little feud. And then they did the draft, the split thing,
Yeah.
where Charlotte stayed on Raw, and then Becky went to SmackDown, and now Charlotte then got brought back to SmackDown.
Yeah,
The
so
one
it
thing I
kind of
don't want to see though, um, is Natalia win just to get cashed in on because I think if they put the title on Natalia, she should have it for a while. Just because I don't know, I just think that she's generally misused on like no matter what show she's on, she's pretty much there just to get people over.
yeah,
The one time so when I went to SmackDown last October, Natalia like was on the show, but she wrestled in a dark match, and I was like, come on, this is Natalia. Why is she wrestling? It was like a local wrestler just in a non-televised match.
yeah,
But
Natalia's really good.
and I think well, I mean, I think she was on the show, but it was like a backstage segment where she was basically just trying to tell Daniel Bryan about her cat or something.
Yeah, so Natalia's a really really good wrestler. She's just really terrible at talking to to cameras and to people. She's really bad on the mic. Um, and I think that's kind of why she's probably not been a more prominent role. Is she's just awful. But which sucks because she's such a good wrestler. But I think like I mean, yeah, you could maybe do the cash in there, turn it into a triple threat. But I think you're right. I think if Natalia wins, she'll probably get cashed in on. Um, so that's going to be my prediction. I'm going to say Natalia wins, and then Carmella cashes in because I think that would be a really exciting moment otherwise for a match that doesn't really have a lot going for it to begin with.
Yeah, and maybe they can actually, and like again, we'll get to this Money in the Bank thing later. But at least if they do the cash in, at least have the person cashing in win.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler if you haven't seen SmackDown, I guess. But so we're gonna go with Natalia. I think it'd be good to get her like a title, even if she gets cashed in on. It'll it'll put
Yeah, it'll give
it'll give Carmella like a bigger, not a bigger push, but it'll help her out.
it'll give her a rub for having beaten Natalia, who, I think most people would hold in pretty high regard as far as like kayfabe goes. She's been there a while. She's a veteran. So I think you're right. I think that would give her a little bit more of a rub than if she had just beaten um, Naomi.
And then it could be a good like heel move because she's like, well, I beat Natalia. She's one of the best wrestlers here. But
She can say,
you
"I beat
beat
a heart."
her basically just like by like in like a cheap fashion kind of thing.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
that's perfect heel heat too. She comes in, she says, "I beat a heart." Let's say she cheats to win. She can then come and say, "I beat a heart, clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, fair and square," and that would be great heel heat. So I think that would be a good story. Um, and yeah, maybe it's Natalia just kind of on her way out, but I mean that's the nature of the business.
All right, we're gonna move into our next women's match. So we have Alexa. This is for the Raw Women's Championship. We have Alexa Bliss defending against Sasha Banks. I don't know what they're doing with Sasha. Like she's like a heel, but not really, and it's just kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, but that's been the case ever since they brought her up. Like, they brought her up and just kind of sit on her. They don't ever really do anything with her. She was in Team Bad for a while, and that time period, I would love to forget that. Um, they just never really know what to do with her, and sometimes she's heelish, sometimes she's face-ish, and this whole relationship she's got with going on with Bailey is just weird. Does not fit her character at all. She needs to be the boss. She needs to be the boss. And what I would like to see here is maybe Bailey comes into the ring or does something that kind of distracts Sasha. She's trying to help Sasha, but she gets distracted or something like that. And then make Sasha lose. Sasha loses her crap and just goes berserk on Bailey. I would like that. I don't know
I
if
could
that's going to happen because apparently Bailey has a separated shoulder. I don't know how real or how fake that is. Um, if it is not a real injury, I would love to see that happen. If it is, obviously they're not really going to do much
right.
in that way.
Yeah, so I could see that happening. I mean, that would be because we want Sasha to be a heel, but we don't want her to just turn heel against Alexa for no reason, really.
Right.
Because then it's heel versus heel, and WWE generally doesn't do that.
Well,
But
heel versus heel just doesn't feel good in general. You always want to root for someone.
yeah, and I think in that case, even if Sasha was heel, I'd be rooting for her anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, what they're doing with her is just weird. Like her promos have been like kind of like this like weird like passive aggressive heel like attitude. It's just strange.
Yeah.
But
But that,
with
that's
that
what
being
happens.
said, though, Alexa Bliss is basically like killing it right now as well.
Yes, she is. She's doing real well.
So I
Um,
could see Alexa retaining, and if they do something with Bailey, even if she is hurt, they can maybe like work around it to
yeah,
where
I think they could do some sort of thing. I just think having Bailey try to help Sasha, but ultimately kind of screw her over, I think that's the route to go.
yeah, even if you don't and then again you could do something where Sasha attacks her and then it's just be like okay, just avoid whatever shoulder is injured,
Yeah.
and then that'll give maybe like that'll even like if Bailey is going to be out, that'll give a good storyline reason. Be like, oh, Bailey was just a little bit hurt, but now she's a lot hurt because I put her out for several months or whatever it is,
Yeah,
and
and
Sasha can use that as heat, I guess.
I think it's a blessing in disguise for Bailey because I think she can use some time away to kind of refresh herself and kind of figure out some stuff because she's been real bad ever since she came to the main roster. She's
Or yeah,
not.
yeah, I think
uh,
they and some of that's on WWE for like I think they put it like putting the title on her way too soon and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's not just her fault, but I think she's really not that good at speaking. Her promos just always feel weird and kind of cringy. And I think a lot of that was just kind of highlighted when it was against Alexa, who is so good, save for the "This Is Your Life" Bailey segment and a couple of really bad things they made Alexa do. By and large, she does real well. Um, so it just kind of highlighted everything that Bailey wasn't doing well, and I think some time away will be good for Bailey. And then if it's Sasha that does put her away, that is a lot of heel heat that she can get saying, yeah, I took Sasha out for months. She needed to be gone. She wasn't good enough to hang. Whatever the words they want to use are. I think that's kind of the best route to go.
Yeah, and they could spin it to where Sasha at least like thinks she's did something good. She's like Bailey should be thanking me because I got her out to where she could like like
Yeah.
get better, that kind of stuff. I don't know. But so we're gonna move into our next match. Do you want to do the SmackDown Championship next, or do you want to go down to the AJ Styles match? Maybe do
Let's
both.
do the two championship matches last.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into our United States Championship match of AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as a special referee. And I saw one promo about this, and Kevin Owens has been doing some great promos lately too.
Oh, he's been killing it.
But mentioned he's like, okay, he's talking to AJ, and he said something to the effect of, "How are you going to expect Shane McMahon to be like in your corner when you attacked him last year?" And it was like a footage of him like basically like smashing his head into the limousine.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a great match. I don't know who wins. I don't know if Shane McMahon is going to favor one wrestler over the other. But Kevin Owens was trying to like basically like make Shane remember. He's like, "Hey, look what AJ did to you. I haven't done anything to you. AJ attacked you." That kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
You know, here's another thing. This is also a match we have seen before. Um,
Oh,
we
and they gave and back before the last pay per view. I remember what was it? AJ won the title at a house show or something.
yeah, I think it was at a Madison Square Garden show or
I mean, so I
some
guess
sort of
that's still a house
untelevised
show,
show.
but it's still a pretty big house show if it's Madison Square Garden. But
Yeah, I mean it was I wouldn't call it a house show. I would just say an untelevised event because it was at Madison Square Garden. And that's another one of those things where it's like I don't that is the type of thing that they maybe could have held for SummerSlam is that title change. But I don't hmm. You know what I would love to see here? Shane McMahon turn heel. Help Kevin Owens screw over AJ Styles.
and
Because
it is SummerSlam, and a lot of weird stuff generally happens at SummerSlams.
yeah, and so here's my reasoning. Because a lot of people are like, oh, heel authority figure, that's so played out. But we have face authority figure on Raw and SmackDown. And if we're being honest, I don't think Kurt Angle is really that good at playing the face general manager or authority. So I think
And
you go back.
like a long time ago, this is like early 2000s. He was, I think, the general manager on SmackDown. This is Kurt Angle I'm talking about,
Yeah,
and was a heel on SmackDown as well.
yeah. So I think like to me, I would, and there is precedence for an evil Shane McMahon, lest we not forget the 1999, 2000, or it was like 1998 to 2000 ish.
And then 2000, and then with
McMahon
the
Helmsley regime.
that thing, and then also the alliance with Stephanie, where
Yeah,
he bought WCW, and they were trying to. I mean, Shane and Stephanie were portrayed as the heels because they were using WCW and ECW like wrestlers as like their wrestlers, and then they were trying to put Vince out of business.
yeah. So there's precedence for it. So I think that would be a fun little twist to have Shane McMahon do something to screw over AJ Styles intentionally.
I can see that. Yeah, like it's not going to be like he got bumped and then couldn't make a count or something like that. I think, yeah, like you said, an intentional heel turn by Shane would be interesting.
Yeah, so because otherwise, like I said, this match is going to be a good match from an in-ring perspective, but from a storytelling perspective, there's not much else they can do because we've seen this before. You know, we've seen the title change before. I think having utilizing that stipulation, having that heel turn, I think that's the best. That's what I would do if it were me.
Right,
Make
sounds good.
meet with the books.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Next up, we have Randy Orton versus Rusev in a just a normal singles match. I don't really care about what they do here.
Okay, so here's the thing. Why are we having this match and not an Intercontinental Championship match?
Yeah, exactly.
Rusev wins. That's
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
yeah.
Rusev. We'll move on. Yeah, we'll just go with Rusev. I mean, Randy Orton. I think he's there lately to get people over. Like he's gotten Jinder over, or
Yeah.
not
I
over,
think
but he's like basically like put him in the top spot or one of the top spots.
Yeah, he basically made Jinder Mahal relevant because he wasn't relevant. He was, a jobber up until he beat Randy Orton. So
Right. So we have Rusev there. We're gonna move the Big Show versus Big Cass. Obviously, probably Cass wins, but but
why
they
is
have
this match here? When the Intercontinental Championship is not being defended, I
right.
feel
And
like
then
all of
also
these
Enzo is going to be
matches.
in a shark cage, which the shark
Yeah,
cage thing. I guess Enzo could sway the match if he drops like an object out of the cage, but it's like it's Big Show, and Big Show's I think didn't Big Show like announce he's pretty much done after his contract runs out.
yeah,
So he's probably going to put Big Cass over. Big Cass is probably going to be pushed like extremely hard, like because Vince likes the big guys, and I can see Cass being like a main eventer like this time around next year.
yeah. I can see that too. And Big Cass is good. I think he's a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves. In his promo ability because for so long he was sitting next to Enzo, who no one comes close to Enzo Amore, but Big Cass wasn't bad on the mic. He could cut a promo.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean I see Enzo getting evolved somewhat, but I don't think it's going to be enough like again to like make Big Show win.
I wonder if the Big Show will like grab the fish tank or shark tank, whatever it is, bring it down and rip the door open, like Kane did in the Hell in a Cell.
Maybe I don't
That would
know.
be pretty sweet.
If this was against some other wrestler, I could maybe see the other wrestler winning. But with Big Cass and like the way they're pushing him lately, I definitely see him winning.
Oh, for sure. There's no way the Big Show is winning. I think everyone can kind of see that they were split apart so that Big Cass can get that sweet singles push, which just really leaves the question of what happens to Enzo Amore. You could throw him in the cruiserweight division. He would be pretty good there, or you could just make him into a manager. I
Yeah,
think having him be a manager would be awesome. You could pair him with anyone, really.
I mean that's essentially what he did most of the time when it was just Cass wrestling. He was
Yeah,
basically like Cass's mouthpiece, and Cass can cut promos too. But he would obviously have the better of the promos, or at least be given the better promos to use.
yeah. I think the only person that's anywhere near his level is Paul Heyman. So just why not put him in the same role as Paul Heyman? Make him a mic guy.
Yeah, make him
I think
a face. Is Brock supposed to be a heel? I mean, it's weird with him, but
Brock is Brock Lesnar. I don't think you can really attach a label to him. Brock Lesnar is whoever the other guy is not. So if Brock Lesnar is facing a face, then he's a heel. If he's facing a heel, he's the face.
right. But I would say yeah, we put Enzo in a role like that, and maybe make Paul Heyman, depending on who Brock is fighting, the heel manager, and Enzo could be like a face manager. Not that they're going to be in the same match or anything, but
Yeah. I that's yeah. So I don't really know what happens with Enzo Amore, but I think if he became a manager, that would be pretty good because there are plenty of people who are not good at speaking that could use help from that perspective.
all right. And we're
But
going to
then
move in.
again,
Oh,
no,
go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say. Then again, whose personality would mesh well with Enzo? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move into our next match. We have Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, and I'm not exactly sure where this match spawned from, but
Well, guess what? We saw this match on Raw already. They had so on the same Raw where Akira Tozawa and Neville faced off. Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor had this match, and it was a fine match. It was Finn Balor doing the work because Bray Wyatt sucks, and basically the match ended with Finn Balor losing, and then Bray Wyatt got a bucket of it looked like cherry pie filling and put it all over Finn Balor. I suppose it was supposed to be blood. So then Finn Balor was like, "Yeah, Bray Wyatt, I'm gonna have the demon come out and get ya." So now we know for sure that the demon is coming out on SummerSlam to face Bray Wyatt.
all right. And so Finn Balor lost on Raw. He'll probably win on SummerSlam, possibly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
There's this is another one of those matches I don't even know how you would expect or even in some way believe that Bray Wyatt would win this match. To me, you just can't because the thing is, First of all, it's freaking Finn Balor, and also, when was the last time Bray Wyatt ever really won a feud? It doesn't
Oh, and
happen.
then also if you're it's going to make Balor look incredibly weak if he loses on Raw and then loses at SummerSlam as well.
Yeah, and also,
Especially if he's probably going to bring in like the demon persona part of it.
yeah, you're not going to have the Demon persona lose on its first match, and also because Finn Balor needs to be in the main event right now. There's no reason he shouldn't be facing Brock Lesnar.
All
No
right,
reason
so
at all.
going with Finn Balor here. Now we have John Cena versus Baron Corbin. All right, so I guess so. Baron Corbin won Money in the Bank. John Cena was wrestling Jinder Mahal on SmackDown and got super AA'd off like the top rope or whatever, a turnbuckle, whatever it was. Baron Corbin comes out to cash in, gets ready to cash in. John Cena distracts him. Baron Corbin loses, and it just looks incredibly stupid.
He lost the Money in the Bank match via a roll up. Just let that sink in.
Also, one thing I was reading on Twitter after this happened was every failed Money in the Bank cash in attempt has involved John Cena in some way.
That's true. Damian Sandow.
Yeah, and then I don't know what the other one. I don't recall. Oh, and then are they counting the one with Rollins trying to cash in, but then the match never started?
I don't know.
Because that was at Survivor Series 3 years ago. Um, Cena versus Brock, I think, and then um, Rollins runs out, tries to cash in. John Cena, before they start the match, attacks him, and then the match never started.
Oh, so maybe that's counting. I don't know.
I don't know, but so now, and this ties into our SmackDown main event. So there's not going to be a cash in at least for a World Championship.
Nope. And that was really the only thing of interest going into the SmackDown Championship match.
Yeah,
So that is, now we effectively know exactly how the SmackDown Championship match is ending. In
and so so now we just have John Cena versus Baron Corbin. I think this match was going to happen regardless, but even if so, normally like let's go back to WrestleMania from WrestleMania 31. So Randy or Seth Rollins wins that, cashes in, wins the world title, but it was after he lost to Randy Orton. So if that was the case, I was going to say Baron Corbin loses because he can still cash in. Now I maybe say Baron Corbin, I hope, wins because he can say like he's really pissed. He's going to just destroy John Cena, which I hope happens, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. As much as I would love for Baron Corbin to get a win over the young up and comer John Cena, um, I don't think it's going to happen. I think John Cena is going to get the win here because it's SummerSlam. Now I know John Cena usually loses at SummerSlam, but um, I don't know. I just like, we've said on this show many times, you can never really bet against John Cena. Like if John Cena is in a match, there's no such thing as a sure thing for him losing. And I'm going to take those odds on this one. I think John Cena is going to win this match
All right, I'm going to
because
actually go Corbin on this one. I hope Corbin wins, just because it's going to make him look incredibly dumb to have him lose his Money in the Bank and then lose to the guy who cost him or caused him to lose the Money in the Bank contract. But again, like you said, never. We always say don't bet against John Cena because generally, even when he probably shouldn't win, he wins.
but and the thing about, if he at least lost the briefcase, then he can win against John Cena. One could argue that beating John Cena is more impactful than winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Because like we have seen like people like Dolph Ziggler. He was a World Heavyweight Champion. Dean Ambrose, he was a champion. But they've never beaten John Cena, so far as I know.
Well, I think Ziggler. Well, I don't know if that counts because there was like a match where AJ Lee turned heel against Cena and pushed him off a ladder, but that was a Money in the Bank match. That's not 1-on-1 anyway.
Yeah, so I think it is better in terms of like kayfabe storytelling. It is more impactful to beat John Cena than to win the championship. So I feel like if they were going to have him beat John Cena, they should have. Why not have him win a champ? Like, that's huge. That is on the level of winning a World Heavyweight Championship. I don't see why they would not do one, but do the other.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's just my crazy ravings.
All right, so
About,
I'm gonna go. We're gonna have differing opinions on this one, or differing predictions, I should say. We'll see what happens. We're gonna move into our Raw Tag Team Championship. So we have Sheamus and Cesaro versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And as cool as it is to have like a somewhat Shield reunion, it was kind of like they could have done it a lot better than the way they did it.
yeah, there was some weird. I mean, I
And then
love
people
the
would argue
story.
it's not really the Shield unless you bring Roman Reigns back into it too. But
Well, here's the thing. I really enjoyed the whole like "Are we bros again?" storyline in a broad sense, but the way they were acting it out and the things they were doing was really, really. It felt awkward and real cheesy a lot of times, but like in an overall sense, like it was a good. The idea of the story was good and it was fun to watch. Um, I think they're going to win the championships here. I think and I hope they will absolutely dominate Sheamus and Cesaro. Like it's Seth freaking Rollins and uh, Dean Ambrose, two former world heavyweight champions. Um, they should be able to defeat Sheamus and Cesaro handily.
yeah,
Um,
I'm going leaning in the same direction just because Sheamus and Cesaro they've had the title for a while. They've had it a couple times. I think are they on their second reign?
um, I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they've had it once before at least. But I could see, and this kind of ties into something that may happen in the main event, which would be kind of cool. But we'll get to that in a little bit later. But I would like to see Ambrose and Rollins like win as well. So I'm predicting them, and
Yeah.
then maybe they'll. So they kind of like reunited on Raw. Like not initially, they were like, all right, like one guy goes to like do the Shield hand gesture thing, whatever it is, and the other one refuses, and the other one does it. They refuse, and then they get attacked, and then they finally are like, all right, let's do this. So I hope they like they get the titles and then they realize that they're like, yeah, we're a pretty good team. Let's actually like stay together now since we have these titles.
Yeah. I could see that because I think I mean I guess we'll get to there eventually, but I think Roman's walking out with the championship. So um I could see that happening.
Yeah, as much as I don't want Roman to have the championship, I could see something happening. So let's go into our SmackDown main event, and then we'll talk about our Raw main event. So we have Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the SmackDown Championship. No cash in possible now because of the failed cash in on SmackDown.
So dumb. So dumb.
But the thing here is Shinsuke Nakamura is like insanely over. He doesn't really need a title. He's kind of at that level where, I mean, is
I
I
think to
think to
people
us he
like you and
is.
me he is, but WWE has done such a bad job of using Shinsuke Nakamura that I think many casual WWE fans, many kids are just like,
Ooh,
okay, Shinsuke Nakamura, there's some guy called the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, we know because we've seen his matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We know what he's capable
and
of.
some of this stuff, his NXT stuff, like his debut against Sami
Yeah.
Zayn and all that.
But the people in the WWE audience who have not watched that stuff, they do not know because, like I said, the SmackDown team has done a garbage job of showing us who Shinsuke Nakamura really is.
So
So
I could see them keeping the title on Jinder. I don't really know.
I can't. There is,
I could see
but
I could see it going either way. I'm not really sure.
that's the thing though. It's like it's when I think about the totality of this whole thing, like Jinder freaking Mahal. Ginger Mahal is the world heavyweight champion. Ginger Mahal. And he's facing Shinsuke Nakamura. What the? And there's a legitimate chance that Shinsuke Nakamura might not win. Like, how can you? It's hard for me to think that he that Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't win. Like I have to think, yeah, it's Shinsuke is going to come out on top of this one. There's no way they're going to have him lose to Jinder Mahal. There's no way, right? Right, Mike?
Maybe. I don't really know. It's SmackDown, so see.
I I just don't see how in any planet on any reality, um, Shinsuke Nakamura can lose to Jinder Mahal. I just don't see how that's possible. So I have to say, not because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm rooting for Shinsuke Nakamura. It's because like he's facing Jinder Mahal. So unless there's some weirdness, some heel tactics, but I think having Shinsuke Nakamura hoist the WWE Championship above his head at SummerSlam is a good image. So I'm going to say Shinsuke.
All right. So, but based on what they've done with Jinder, I'm actually going to say Jinder just because it's like, oh, Jinder's going to fight Randy Orton. No way he's going to lose it, or he's going to win from Randy Orton. Oh, he beat
Yeah,
Randy Orton. Okay, he beat Randy Orton 3 times. I'm like, all right. So maybe there's something to it. I don't think there is, but um, just to have a differing opinion, I'm going to go with Jinder. I would like to see Shinsuke win though, but
yeah.
and then the entire possibility of the cash in is out of the picture because of all that nonsense. But
So dumb.
yeah. All right, now we're going to move into our main event. So we have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman. Before we kind of already hinted at what we think might happen. But if that weren't to happen, I would really like to see either Joe or Braun have the title. I'm really liking what they're doing with Braun Strowman lately.
I mean, I don't think you would get an argument from anyone about Joe having the title. It would be amazing for Samoa Joe. I would love for him to win. I don't see it happening though. I mean, obviously we all know how the WWE feels about Roman Reigns. And I think they love Braun Strowman too. I don't see it. I'm not a Braun Strowman fan. I think he's terrible. Um, but a lot of people like him. A lot of people like him. And I can see why. He's a classic monster heel, you know? I see his appeal. I personally think he's horrible. So I think the wrinkle here is, I don't know if you saw the Paul Heyman deal where he's saying if Brock Lesnar loses, he's leaving.
Yeah, that's on the
And
bottom of the thing here. It says Lesnar and Heyman have declared that they will both leave WWE if Lesnar loses, which
yeah,
doesn't really mean is like what like okay leave for how long? Leave indefinitely? Leave permanently? Is it like leave until the next SummerSlam? Because people can always come back.
yeah, I think. But the
But
thing is,
also
like,
with that being said, I would like to have a champion that's going to be on Raw most of the time, defend the title at pretty much like almost like every Raw pay per view and the big pay per views. And I mean like Brock is awesome, but it's like I think the title gets defended like far too infrequently when he's around.
yeah, at this point, as awesome as Brock Lesnar is, like Brock Lesnar doesn't need a championship belt. He's Brock Lesnar. Anything he does is going to be noteworthy. So at this point, I'd rather have the championship be defended regularly. And I want to see stories involving the championship with the champion there. So to me, the
But yeah,
two most
I would again back to your point. I would love to see Samoa Joe like with the belt because the build up they did for the Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar match from Battle. I don't remember what it was, but it was really good.
oh, it
They
was
made
the
they
the
made
Joe
Joe look they made Joe look really strong in like the when he was choking him out on the stage and like Roman or not Roman, but when Brock Lesnar almost passed out, and then the match itself was good until the very last, just like oh and F5 and that's it.
Yeah, Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar, their feud has made Raw really good for the past while. Pretty much since their feud started, it's Raw has been pretty awesome. Um, the thing is like I I don't know if they're gonna put the title on Joe. To me, I think they're going with a Samoan named Joe, but it's not Samoa Joe. It's Joe on Hawaii, i.e. Roman Reigns. So I think it's either Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman. Um, I could see the Shield coming back to help Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's my
Um,
my prediction would be is like we said, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins win the championships. Even if they don't, they can still help Roman out. They come out, lights cut off, lights come back on, and everybody's put through tables. And Samoa, or not Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns is like, "What's going on?" That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not
The
what's
only
going on, but then the thing is though, I think this helps WWE and this helps Roman Reigns in a few different ways. So when Roman was getting a ton of heat 2 years ago, they paired him with Ambrose, and it kind of cut that heat a little bit because everybody likes Dean Ambrose. So they're like, okay, this pair Roman with Ambrose, and he won't be as like hated, I guess.
yeah.
If you pair him now with Ambrose and Rollins, who are both faces, and you have the Shield reunite, people might be less inclined to boo Roman Reigns. They probably still will, but if it's like a singles match, they're probably still going to boo him. But maybe this will help get some of that heat off of Roman Reigns that is just like terrible right now.
But here's the thing. Here's my counterpoint. So they're going to be in Brooklyn right off the heels of NXT. This is going to be the smarkiest of smarks. Is the crowd going to find Roman Reigns so radioactive and so toxic that they will boo Ambrose and Rollins for helping him? Would Ambrose and Rollins get more cheers for screwing over Roman Reigns?
I think they would probably get more cheers for screwing over Roman Reigns. I would think, but I could also see, like you mentioned on Twitter, that this face Seth Rollins just is not working.
No, it's not.
So Dean Ambrose, he can be whatever, but I say you have them come out, help Roman Reigns, and just turn heel and be like,
Oh, that would be great. That
we're,
would be
we're heels
awesome.
now, or we're maybe not like heels, like we're like in opposition of the good guys. We're just doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Not like they were heels when they were working for the Authority before they split off, before they broke up.
Yeah, but that would be good. But I think having, it's tough to kind of figure out what effect them coming out to help Roman Reigns will have. Will it get them boos, get them cheers? It's hard to tell because that crowd is, as the announcers love to tell us, it's Bizarro world. We cheer for whom we normally boo and boo for whom we normally cheer. So you never know what's going to happen with these smart crowds.
Unless
Uh,
they just want to keep the Shield, like unless they want to have the Shield now just be Ambrose and Rollins, and maybe have something to the effect of maybe Paul Heyman like tells them, "Hey, come out and help Lesnar win, and we'll get you whatever you want," that kind of stuff.
that would be pretty good
And then that keeps
if they
that
came
keeps
out
Brock
with
and that
like,
keeps Brock Lesnar there. Even though, again, we mentioned we would rather have a champion that's going to, be on Raw like almost every week and defend the title at the Raw pay-per-views. So I could still see Brock losing, but I would the Shield reunion. Like I think the heat's going to be really bad, but I can see them like turning that heat into be like, hey, we're the Shield. We're going to do whatever we want.
yeah, that is very true. They can truly be those tweeners. They are beholden to no one. Um,
And I think even if they do that, I think they'll at least Ambrose and Rollins will get cheered. Roman maybe not, but the way the Shield was originally was Roman wasn't the talker. It was Rollins mostly,
yeah,
and then you just have um, Roman Reigns be the champion. That is just the guy who is like helping do the powerbomb people. He's not really talking, but he's also the one that's probably like, all right, we need to take this guy out, have Roman fight him or something like that.
yeah. I would have Dean Ambrose be the talker. Um, and you can get Seth Rollins in there when things are starting to heal up a little bit because he's really good as a heel, but not so much in face territory.
Yeah,
So
like
if
the redemption storyline against Triple H was good, but then where they took it after that, there's nowhere really to go.
yeah, he fought Bray Wyatt for no real reason. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad news. But I think kind of putting him with Ambrose, doing the Shield reunion, like kind of re-energizes them, gives him a little bit of a different energy because he doesn't have to be that squeaky clean baby face. He can be a little more edgy. He can be an edge lord, because that's what the Shield was. So I think this will give them a little more leeway to kind of do what they need to do to get over,
Yeah,
in a
and
good
maybe,
way.
and we've been talking about it for months. Maybe if like the heat is so bad, they just turn the entire group heel, and then Roman gets heat that is like actually like heel heat, and not just heat to like the top face of the company, or baby face in the company is getting all this heat. Maybe at least make that heat actually like appropriate.
Yeah. Although I I have kind of given up hope on Roman ever turning heel at this point, so I don't know that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean they've had Roman's been like when they were working for the Authority. I guess they were heels, but Roman really wasn't. He wasn't cutting promos at that time, really.
Yeah.
And even when he was back in this is like 3 years ago, they were not. They weren't great.
No,
So
Roman's never been a
they
good
usually let
promo.
Dean and Seth handle the talking mostly. But
Yeah. But I just don't know if they'll ever turn Roman Reigns heel, so I don't know how that would go, but
one thing though
um
I will say is I don't see Lesnar definitely won't be taking the pin though,
no, no, no,
or
no,
the
no.
submission. I don't know who it'll be.
I think Samoa Joe or Braun Strowman are the two pin eaters. I think if Braun Strowman wins, he's going to pin Samoa Joe, and I think if Roman Reigns wins, he will pin probably Samoa Joe, maybe Braun Strowman.
Yeah, because like again, I can see the Shield coming out and laying out Samoa Joe maybe through one of the announcer tables, putting Strowman through the other one, and then just like throwing him into the ring for Roman Reigns to pin.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I think my prediction is Roman Reigns comes out the victor. As loath as I am to see that happen, I
Yeah, I
think
mean, I
that's
don't
what's
really
going to happen.
necessarily want to see that, but if it gets me a Shield reunion that is actually like a good Shield reunion, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And then hopefully they just don't screw over the actual like what they do with the Shield after that.
Huh. You're saying you hope WWE can follow through on a storyline idea, strike while the iron is hot. That's funny.
Yeah,
That's a
or a
good joke.
storyline that people have wanted for a while.
Yeah, you.
And they've teased it like 2 or 3 times where they like briefly reunite to powerbomb somebody.
Yeah, it's just I don't know because the WWE is great about like letting perfect opportunities pass them by.
Right.
That's something they do well.
All right. So that is our predictions. Hopefully we'll see how we do. And I'm probably be trying to watch this on Sunday. I might be working that night, but I'll try to maybe watch afterward or watch like at least like read what's going on Twitter and that kind of thing. So that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank Aaron for coming on and talking wrestling with me. Why don't you tell
No
people about
problem.
your comic book podcast?
All right, if you like pop culture, comics, you can tune into my other podcast called The Comic Book Show, where we talk about comics, life, other stuff, uh, and nothing too serious, which is always good. You can find us at www.epiccomicshow.com or find us on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for The Comic Book Show.
All right, you can follow Aaron on Twitter at Aaron Steinberg. You can follow myself at Iceworm. We'll be back in the future for I'm not sure what pay per view is next or which one we're gonna do. I think it's one of the brand exclusives, but we'll
Can I
keep you
just
guys informed.
can I just say real
I think
quick
it's Hell in
before
a
we
Cell,
go
but
here?
yeah,
I really don't like this dueling 2 pay-per-views a month model. I really don't. It's just too much.
yeah, I wouldn't mind them going back to the way they did it in like the early 2000s when it was this month is a SmackDown pay per view, this month is a Raw pay per view. The big four ones they obviously are split. So um, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivors, or SummerSlam Survivor Series are a split card, like half and half. And
Yeah,
then
they should
every
do that.
month you have one of the brand pay per views or something like that.
Yeah, I can't do this 2 pay-per-views a month
Oh,
anymore.
and maybe stuff like Money in the Bank where you can feasibly do 2 Money in the Bank matches. Maybe you make those split as well, where you have a SmackDown Money in the Bank and a Raw Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I would. That's what I would have done. I would have just put one at the very beginning and one at the very end.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me, Mike. It's a
Sure.
pleasure as always.
Yep. And we'll see everybody next time. Take care.
Take it easy.